welcome to another spooky edition of Drunkard's Walk, the Halloween episode. Sorry I'm talking like this, but I swallowed a theremin. Whoa! I'm calling from beyond the grave. This is the ghost of Jethro Nolan. And with me, as always, is the evil, ghoulish Matt Wolfman. Heart and Wolf.
Oh yeah.
That was your Wolfman was as good as my ghost. So.
Well, here's the problem. I knew that if I went over the top of the Wolfman, that Zoom would just take me down to 0 on the volume, and you wouldn't hear a thing that I did. So I had to try to like pull it back, and that's a tough thing to do, man.
Zoom is famously anti-fun in terms of the audio.
That is exactly what they are. Anti-fun. Well, but not today. Boy, I'll tell you what. Halloween, exciting times, and that was some pretty good ghosting you were doing there, man. That's almost as good. That's almost as good as the ghosting you did to me when you just jetted on out of Pittsburgh without telling me that you were leaving and where you were going.
Well, again, that was on a need-to-know basis only, and also. I did not jet out of Pittsburgh. I trucked out of Pittsburgh.
Oh, so you're someplace that can be driven to. Well.
That is correct.
Hold on. I have to go back to my pin board.
Yes. However, something you may wish to consider is that trucks can be driven upon boats, and those boats can then go to places where those trucks can be unloaded onto the shore again. So the number of places that can be driven to is much, much higher than you think.
Did you drive onto a boat in the past 6 months?
That is, again, on a need-to-know basis.
Oh, come on, man.
Like
I can't. All right, I got to take that pin out, I guess. I really thought I had you confined to North America. Well, South America. Well, these two continents, because the land bridge is gone, right? You can't get over.
I mean,
right? Is the land bridge gone? Can you see it from where you are?
Well, I'm going to be bearing straight with you. So.
Yuck.
Come on.
That's
when
gross.
Do I get a chance to use a bearing straight pun?
I don't know. Never, I hope. That was almost as scary as Halloween.
The biggest scary thing for me this Halloween is, since we're in a new location, that I have to figure out the level of candy that I need to buy for Halloween, because I have no idea if we're in a high traffic place or a low traffic place.
Better overbuy. It's better to overbuy than it is to underbuy, because if kids come and there's no candy, depending on where you are, that could be bad news.
Yeah, but so is having like bags and bags of Kit Kats and Reese's peanut butter cups in the house. That's like having a loaded gun. It's just going to cause trouble.
You can donate those though afterwards.
Can you though?
Well, I mean, you can. Yes.
A stronger person might be able to donate them, but I'm a weak man.
It's true. It's
can't
true.
have temptation near me.
You do have a lot of strength. You know what is really strong in you, though, is your Wikipedia link clicking. And I think that is because of all the practice that we've gotten going through a full 6 seasons of this, going from one Wikipedia topic to another, just using the links on the pages.
What, Matt, your compliment has inadvertently provided a capsule description of our podcast.
Did it?
It did.
Oh, wow. Well, that was convenient. Now we don't have to explain what we do.
There we go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If I would say that our link clicking, we go from place to place, but sadly that requires us to have some sort of destination, and it would be against the law for us to provide it, since we are the ones going on the adventure.
Yes.
I wish we had someone here who could provide that for us.
Well, you're in luck, Jethro, because we do have someone here who can provide that for us. Yeah, that's right. Because I don't know if you've noticed or not, but there's a third person on our Zoom call tonight. And
are you talking about that skeleton covered in cobwebs in the corner?
Yes, the skeleton. No, I'm talking about the guy sitting next to the skeleton. It's my good friend, Brad Barnhorst. Hey, Brad, how's it going, man?
Oh, doing great. Sorry about the cobwebs.
No, don't apologize. It's Halloween. They're very on brand.
They are.
Is that just because you haven't been cleaning? Those aren't decorations?
No, those are intentional.
Good deal.
Who is that skeleton?
That was supposed to be in the closet.
Oh, a lot of skeletons in your closet. I see. Yeah, I get that. Hey, it is so good to see you, man. Happy Halloween for you. and welcome to Drunkard's Walk. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, let's see, Jethro, I know most of the time we bring people on and we have met them doing improv, but that's not the case for Brad and myself.
Wait a minute. You have another way of meeting people?
I did. I met Brad when I was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
Because we were both part of the Catalyst program at North Allegheny School District. And that's where we met. Now, we didn't really like get to know each other there. Like I mean, I was aware that he existed, and I don't know if he was aware that I existed or not, but we really got to know each other in high school. Right? In high school, we didn't really know each other. Did we know each other in middle school, really? Kind of?
Yeah, kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
We had mutual friends.
Yes. We definitely have mutual friends. I just don't know that we ever really hung out. I guess maybe in
like 8th
the
grade.
talent shows.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So you're saying it took like 5 or 6 years to warm up to you, Matt?
Definitely. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. It was really tough for him to...
an acquired taste, really.
It really is. But yeah, we hung out quite a bit in high school, and we were both in marching band together. We did the musicals together. What other stuff did we were on a softball team at one point, and
that's right, yeah.
Went to some church work camps, and man, just all sorts of crazy stuff that we got up to.
That's true. Smashing a cement staircase with a sledgehammer. That was definitely a highlight of one of those church work building Habitat for Humanity type projects.
Yeah, in Braddock.
You smashed a staircase? Did you get go out to a synagogue and tear it down? Is that the kind of church?
Wow. No. Yeah, no. I think it was just they wanted to replace it with a better staircase, but needed to get rid of the old staircase. And nothing is better than for teenage angst than a sledgehammer and some stairs.
Yeah. There you go. They called the right people in.
That was difficult to do too. I never really realized how difficult it was going to be. Like I was just like, oh, they gave us a sledgehammer and this concrete couldn't be that hard. And boy, oh boy, that took a long time.
I really wouldn't be surprised if those stairs didn't actually need to be smashed, but the people running the group were like, boy, those two, I don't think I want them building anything. We just tell them to smash that. It's just going to get them out of everyone's hair.
Yeah.
But by the time you were done, you didn't have enough energy left to sin.
That's also true.
It's all part of the master plan. Yeah.
We stayed in like an old convent or something for that week, didn't we?
I think so. Man. It was like that
was a weird experience. I was raised Presbyterian, so I just would go to all the events that Brad's church had because he was Catholic, and so they had like that's the softball team we played on was part of your like youth group. Like my church never would have done stuff like that. We were like, we had lock-ins once every 3 years or something. And that was,
well, that, and you were interested in dating a Catholic girl. So that was something.
I was, well, in fact, at the point that we went on the Habitat for Humanity trip, I think I was dating that Catholic girl.
Yes, I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure. Cause that was definitely... like Easter of our senior year. So that would have been during that whole time. And there's, boy, I'll tell you, Jethro, there's all kinds of history wrapped up in this. It is.
I'm keen to know more.
You are? Well, let me chime in on something here.
Maybe we should have that Catholic girl on the episode.
Well, see, an interesting part to this story is that Catholic girl used to be my girlfriend.
Okay.
And then, in a very interesting scenario, we were on a band trip to the happiest place on earth.
No, the happiest place on earth is Disneyland.
Oh, okay. Well, then the Floridian knockoff,
the most magical place on earth,
the most magical place. Yes. And on that trip, which I had stopped dating the girl. To be fair, this was
for over a year at that point,
for a very, very, very long time. Yeah. But Matt had decided that he wanted to then ask this girl out. And
let's be clear, I'd had a crush on this girl since 7th grade.
To be fair, I had a crush on her since kindergarten.
Right. But I'm just saying, it's not like you started dating her and then I was like, I'm interested in that girl. That's not how it went down. Just to make it all clear, because what you're about to tell them is going to make me sound like the worst person ever. So I need to clear up some of the air here. Okay,
that's fair. So. So on this way to this magical place, he then does ask this girl, really like to go out with you. The only unfortunate thing was
on a date. I would like to go out on a date with you. Not date, like not be girlfriend and boyfriend.
Oh, all right. Come on. Don't nitpick. Let the man finish.
Oh, okay.
Well, the unfortunate thing is he was dating another girl who was in college at the time.
Aha.
And we'd agreed to see other people.
And she was flying down to see him.
She was flying down to see her brother in Disney World.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
So this made for a very awkward breakup.
Yeah.
With which one? The girl who flew down, or the Catholic girl who?
The girl that flew down.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were in line for Splash Mountain.
Wow.
Because I decided that honesty was the best policy, so I was going to tell her what was happening. Turns out that was not the best policy, because there's some such thing as timing, and I had not learned. Well, I still haven't really learned about timing.
So, but, did you break up with her and then continue to stand in line for Splash Mountain?
No.
Awkward?
No, I did not. I did not. I left. I said, "You hang out with all the people. I'm going to go off, and I will go." And I left. And I'll tell you what. No, wait, because this is the most important part of the story as far as I'm concerned. Because I left and I went off and I was on my own. And I was just sitting there and I was just like, beside myself. I felt really bad. I felt guilty. I felt whatever. And the person who came and found me and then hung out with me for the rest of that time was none other than Mr. Brad Barnhorst right here.
Oh, what a friend.
So honestly, I mean, that probably cemented our friendship for the rest of our lives, as far as I'm concerned. So,
well, then it was worth it.
Yeah. Well, bros before Catholic girls. That's really,
right. There you go. I will say this, though, that if you were really thinking strategically ahead about maximizing the quality of the anecdote for your future life, you would have broken up with her on Splash Mountain immediately before the hill where your picture is taken, so that you can see.
You can see the moment when her heart breaks.
Heart breaks. Yeah. Watch right here. Exactly. Oh, there it is. I don't know. I don't even know if they had pictures yet at that point, because I think at one point they didn't even do the pictures on Splash Mountain.
It was just a guy drawing furiously.
That's right. It was not good. It was a lot of stick figures.
Very blurry.
Well, all right. This has been fantastic, Brad. I'm sorry you have to go. And why don't you just tell us the topic and then we'll just move on. No. You do have a destination for us though, yes?
Yes. And
fantastic.
If I may,
please.
And indulge, just because Drunkard's Walk, when I first heard about this project, this delightful project of yours, and knew the phrase right off the bat, right? Because I've been in finance for a couple decades now. I'm a finance professor, so a Drunkard's Walk or random walk is very crucial in finance, especially for option pricing, which is something I used to trade when I worked on Wall Street. So it was an incredible topic. So I just wanted to say thanks for having me on, because it's exciting to be on Drunkard's Walk.
Absolutely. So you know what Drunkard's Walk, because most people think that it has to do with us drinking as we go through Wikipedia, but you are aware that it has a different meaning.
Right. Yeah.
How would you define it?
Well, so it comes actually by way of physics, right? And is used then for mirroring how the stock market tends to move as a drunk walking down the street, which is that they stumble, right? Like a drunk stumbles and can sometimes stumble left and sometimes stumble right, but there's not a path dependence on it, right? Once you've stumbled to a particular place, right, the drunkard can then continue stumbling left or switch and start stumbling right. So modeling the stock market that way, which the physicists had already done with Brownian motion and particles in the air, enabled a very crucial formula for option pricing that actually won the effective Nobel Prize in economics for the discoverers. So it's a really cool thing, because I like to think it's actually it's a great story from a university perspective. This idea that like sometimes my students in business will be like, why do they make us take history and science? And I'm like, because it's important to know all of these things that knowledge in one field can help you in another field. So the coolness of how physics really helped in finance is, I think, a really cool thing. So thank you for naming your show and allowing me this teachable moment.
Well, thank you for acknowledging it. You are the exact middle-aged white guy nerd demographic that we're going for. So.
Yeah, we've hit the nail on the head here.
We really have.
All right. So is your thing a finance thing? Is your destination finance of some kind?
I was tempted because there's a couple really good, like Triple Witching Day is a finance term.
Because it's Halloween.
Because it's Halloween, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
A Dead Cat Bounce, which markets have been a little rough this year. The idea that if you from up high enough, even dead cats bounce. Okay. But I didn't want to go with that because again, we have this a lot of history going back many, many years.
Oh, no.
And so the topic that I actually wanted to give is a gem of a movie called Perkins 14.
Perkins 14.
Now, I have never heard of this. I can't wait to learn more about it.
This has a Wikipedia page?
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Well, please tell the audience, tell Jethro about Perkins 14.
So as we mentioned, we have some common friends that we've had for a long time. So one of our common friends is Lane Shadgett, who I've known since preschool, and he is now working as a clerk for a judge in DC. But he took a detour career as a screenwriter and has a couple movies to his name, one of which is a horror film called Perkins 14. So, so I thought that would be a pretty cool one for the Halloween topic, and give you guys a little bit of a challenge too, because again, it's not super well known.
It is not at all, and it is, as I recall, it was part of Horror Fest, which was this thing that they would do where they would have like all these independent horror films. And you could like go and like pay for a day at the movie theater, and you could watch like several of them, or you could just pay for them individually. And his was, if I'm not mistaken, Brad, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. He was hired to write the screenplay for this, but the story was actually written by somebody that won a contest, and he then had to take that story and turn it into a screenplay, which, like, I'm sure was a real pain in the butt to do. But I remember I went and saw it in the theater when it came out, and it must have been like 2002, 2003, somewhere around there. Like it was early 2000s for sure. But it was not his original story idea. But the whole premise was that there was a crazy guy in a town who captured children and caged them, and then release them after like so many years of just being tortured to like destroy the town. And like the lead character is like a sheriff who is trying to stop all this from happening. And the lead character's daughter, I believed, was named Daisy after one of our friends from high school.
Who you also dated.
Who I also did, but I dated her in college, so that's a different situation. But yeah.
Who did you awkwardly break up with to date her?
I think the Catholic.
No, that's not true. That's not true. This is a college girl. I brought up some college girl. No, I wasn't dating anybody else, but that's the only time that I was dating. No, forget it. I'm not going to get into all this. This is great. I can't believe this is a fantastic suggestion for our Halloween episode, because it is a horror movie, and it is it's an absolute.
So
I mean, it's not a good movie.
At the risk of exposing my naivete and my ignorance, has anyone we've ever heard of been in this movie?
Nope.
No.
There are no known names in this movie.
Okay, then.
And it was shot in like Romania, even though it was all English speaking, and it was shot super cheaply. And he hates it. Let's be clear. Lane hates that movie. And I bought a DVD copy and made him sign it because I thought that would be hilarious. And he was angry. But I still have it. So, yeah.
I do. Yeah. You in your facts and your summary was very good. But because it might help you, I need to correct one thing. Your memory is that it's early 2000s, but this was later. This was actually. Do you want me to give the year that it was in?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
It's a 2009 release.
Oh, 2009. Oh, holy cow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just. I don't know why I was thinking. Oh, I do know why actually. Well, anyway, I saw it in Arundel, Maryland, and there was a point when I went to that theater a lot because of a different girl I was dating. Anyway, the point of the story is that is great to know. 2009 is going to be more helpful because Archaeopteryx
significally before that
discovered way before that. It's not going to help at all. Well, this is awesome, man. Thank you very much for this topic. I love it. I can't wait to try to find it. Jethro, you're gonna love this movie if we ever get to it.
Yeah,
which we may not.
My optimism at finding this movie that has no known names in it that I've never heard of, and that you saw at some random horror thing is muted.
I mean, let's be clear. It was released nationwide. Horror Fest was like a thing that they did year after year after year. Okay. And it was just like this time when they brought out a whole bunch of horror movies that you could like see on different days and different times. So it wasn't like a special event that was happening at one place. It was all over the country. And it happened multiple times too. This was I don't know what number Horror Fest this was, but it was not like the first one or anything like that.
All right then.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm up for the challenge.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the topic. And
thank you for having me, and good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
We'll talk to you soon, man.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Well, this should be exciting.
Yes, indeed. Archaeopteryx to Perkins 14. Well, I guess, first of all, we've got to make predictions, and we've got to talk about drinks. If you're having a drink, I don't know if you're having a drink or not.
I'm having a water. I had a crazy trip to Toronto this weekend where I was boozing it up big time and trying to do a cleanse it out.
Well, I mean, our listeners probably know that was a trip that we went on together. And in fact, if you listen to our re-release episodes, you got to hear a little bit about that trip. I am drinking tonight, though, despite
what are you having?
The heavy boozing. I am drinking a Balaton chocolate whiskey that is flavored peanut butter chocolate because it's Halloween. So Halloween candy. It's like a Reese's peanut butter cup in a glass.
There you go. It's the kind of thing you'd give out to the kids who are trick or treating as a little treat.
Yeah, it's so sweet though. Oh man, yeah, it's very much like a dessert type of thing, like that you would drink instead of dessert.
I can't handle the sweet bourbons and stuff.
No, you don't like it?
I don't like the flavored stuff. I like just the regular old bourbon, the sweet enough for me.
I mean, I certainly prefer the regular stuff, but I can do it if I got to do it, and I got to do it, man. Because
you know what else we got to do?
What else we
got to write down our guesses for how many links it's going to take us.
Yes, we do.
To get to Perkins 14.
Yeah, from Archaeopteryx. Boy, oh boy. All right. I have written down a number. I will make sure that it is clear which number. I'm using reusing pieces of paper here. So,
gotcha.
All right. Well, then let us travel, sir, from Archaeopteryx off to this this crazy old horror movie that came out in 2009.
All right then. So, excuse me, I'm allergic to this suggestion.
I'm sure you are.
So if we can't get there through the names of the cast or crew,
no,
then I would think that we would need to go in through the genre. But if it's not a well-known horror movie, then even the genre movie, I'm flummoxed for how we're even think about getting here.
So here's the thing. One of the things that we can think about is this Horror Fest thing that I was talking about is more well known than this particular movie itself. And not to say that it's super well known, because obviously you've never heard of it, and so it's not super well known. But
True.
I do believe that Rob Zombie is somehow connected to this. So we do have a name that might get us toward there. Now, I could also be wrong that he is involved, but I'm pretty certain that he had, and you know what? I'm also pretty certain that there are more well-known horror films that have been part of Horror Fest. Okay. Now I don't remember what they were, so it's not going to, that's not going to really help us.
A key piece of information.
Well, but my point, I guess, is that if we could get into horror or Halloween or something along those lines, we may be able to get there a little more easily than it would seem. But I could be completely wrong about this. This could be, we could max out at our 20 on this one, for all I know. So I did see a skeleton on this page, which I think is obvious because, they found the fossilized skeleton of this thing. So there's a possibility we could go from skeleton through to like horror and horror movies.
Yeah.
I also see crows. I see ravens. These are, kind of horror type birds.
Gotcha.
What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, I think they're all things that definitely have a kind of horror movie or a Halloweeny association with them.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, they also have a big biological association. So
of course.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the degree to which a Wikipedia page is going to feature the sort of obscure cultural reference that we're looking for. But
well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
It's only the first click. So Raven, I like Skeleton. Those are probably
Predators is on here as well, which there's a famous action / sort of horror-y movie called Predator.
There is
where he is a monster of some kind. So
yeah, well, and theoretically we could get to a disambiguation page through Predator.
Right.
And that gets us into movies. Toot sweet.
Yeah.
Not that those movies are particularly useful for us because again, we can't click on any cast or crew to get us closer to.
That's right. I kind of like Skeleton because as I recall, like one of the first animated movies is about skeletons. And I think that there's a chance that like the skeleton page might have a reference to something like that. Skeletons
in pop culture.
In pop culture or in media or something along those lines. I think that's the one that I would.
I mean, definitely the use of skeletons in art. And I'm thinking here of like Dia de los Muertos.
You're right. Yeah.
My apologies to the people whose culture I'm butchering the language.
Yeah, you're killing them all.
But yeah, so Skeleton, I like it. It is at the end of the second paragraph in the introductory section.
That's it.
And various features of the skeleton, which has a beautiful picture of a human skeleton placed atop a horse skeleton. And
yes, it does.
It's nice to know that those two died at the same time.
I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
They're both equal. Are you telling me that the horse died and the man just stayed on it until he died?
I guess that wasn't what I was trying to get to. No, but
all right. Well, the absurdity is that the idea that the man died and stayed on the horse for several years until the horse met his next end.
I like it. I like it. I'm going to go with it.
All right then.
Now here,
it turns out a lot of animals have skeletons.
It does turn out that way. I did notice that initially I didn't see any kind of pop culture or any kind of skeletons in media immediately come up, which is a shame.
It is very disappointing.
I do see a lot of information about skeletons and bones and craniums and hip bones and marrow and
Indeed, there is a disambiguation page. There is also a link to human skeleton, which could get us slightly closer to what we're looking for.
It is possible,
since this one does tend to have a very biological bent to it.
Yeah, it really does. And I mean, like almost exclusively. So that's not particularly helpful. Yeah, I was really hoping that there was going to be more to this Wikipedia page than just these things, but apparently not. I do see Leonardo da Vinci is linked on here.
Is he now?
And he comes up quite a bit in, fictional things as well. So that
gets us to Da Vinci Code, which again is of no use because we don't know the name of any of the actors.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, I think what we're trying to get to is horror as a genre of film, right? I think that is the
certainly
path
be useful
to take.
Yeah.
So if we can get to movies, I do think that there is some value to that. Now, whether it's through, human skeleton disambiguation, which I kind of like. I kind of like the disambiguation page for this because I want to think that there's something like that. There's a movie called Skeleton or something like that, but I don't know that that's true. Feels like it could be though. There's a sport, right? Isn't there a sport called the skeleton?
I don't know.
Winter Olympic sports.
I have no clue. There's
red. That's right.
There's red skeleton.
No, that's a different. I think it's pronounced and spelled differently.
Certainly possible.
Yeah. Well, what do you think?
I think skeleton disambiguation page could get us into culture.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. There's a link to sharks on this page.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I mean, come on. Sharks gets us to Jaws, no problem. And Jaws is a horror movie.
Is it though?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Does shark get us to Jaws right away?
I think it does. I think the shark page will have Jaws on it.
Where is the shark?
Vertebrate skeletons is the section, and it is about 3 sentences in. In other animals, such as the cartilaginous fishes, which include the sharks, the skeleton is composed entirely of cartilage.
All right, sharks
Yeah.
it is. That's a narrow target for us to hit, though.
Takes us to shark. The page is shark. It is a long page. That is good news.
In culture.
There's
a
in
relationship
culture,
right there. So we definitely have Jaws, the novel, and the film of the same name, and sequels, which is all of which are links. So I would say either film of the same name, or if you hover over sequels, it's the Jaws filmography.
Oh, okay.
Which might be interesting. And it does say, in fact, that Jaws is a horror movie. So you were right.
Oh, does it doesn't link to horror movie though?
So I'm just hovering over sequels.
Oh, okay.
Where it says Jaws is an American natural horror film series that started in 1975.
Okay. Well, then that may be the way to go. I was going to see if there was another, because there are other shark movies, obviously.
Ooh, there is, however.
Yeah.
Sharks are a threat in other films such as Deep Blue Sea, The Reef, and others. And when you hover over others, you get natural horror, is a subgenre of horror films that features natural forces.
Interesting.
And if our goal is to get to horror films generally, I think that would be the place to go.
Yeah, I would say that you are probably right. Oh wait, but we could click on Jabberjaw here. Oh, come on. All right. So and others is where. Oh, I see it. Natural horror. Yeah, I think this is the way to go, man.
Right. So it's under the in popular culture section. It's just after Deep Blue Sea and The Reef. Others.
All right, and that takes you to list of natural horror films. Oh no. Okay.
But natural horror is a subgenre of horror films. So horror films is a clickable link on here, which would be fantastic. Now, having seen Perkins 14,
yes,
what can you tell us about so it's a guy who traps kids.
It is. Yeah. And it's not going to be, so this seems to be all things that are like animals, like the birds is on here, I see, and Birdemic and Piranha. And, like these are all animals like in nature. So I don't think it's going to be on this list. I would be very surprised if it was.
They even have a section for horror films featuring mollusks. And there's like 4 of them. There's slugs.
Yeah.
Bride of the Monster, which is under the octopuses and squid section, as well as tentacles and octopus.
Oh, I love it.
There's a lot of animal-based, not even just animal, plants, miscellaneous. Godzilla is on here.
Yeah, there's Little Shop of Horrors, which when we did that play in high school, Lane, who wrote the movie, he was in Little Shop of Horrors. Maybe that's on that page.
Mm-hmm. Probably not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how good the performance was, but
no, it wasn't that good. Well, I mean, he did a great job, but I don't even remember what role he played. It wasn't something huge. So. Also, this is a Wikipedia page about Little Shop of Horrors, like the musical and the movie and everything along those lines.
At the bottom, there's a list of horror films. We can just click on that. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, is that in the... look at that.
It's in the forbidden section that we're not allowed to go in.
Yep, not allowed to go there. I made it harder.
So I guess horror films is where we want to go.
I think so. I don't see anything else that would be any better than that. Horror films. Let me just make sure here. Alfred Hitchcock is on here. I do see. Now hold on, Chief. I think I found a way around my rules.
Have you now?
Yeah, on the right-hand side, there's a little box that says films by genre. And if you mouse over horror, it's a list of horror films.
Okay. So first of all, I don't think you can call me chief. I think we're not doing that anymore.
All right, pal.
Yeah, even
buddy.
Now those just
sure thing, Skip.
All right. Thank you, pubescent teenager from The Simpsons.
You want fries with that?
No. Yeah. All right. So even though they are both links that go to the same place, you feel like the list of horror movies is where we want to go?
I mean, we can just go to horror films if you want. I feel like there's probably a better chance. Well, actually, who knows? It might not even be on the list of horror films. So I don't know. I think really either one is a viable option. And if you really want to get technical, I guess this little blue box to the right could be considered out of bounds, but I'm going to leave it up to you.
No, I feel like we've excluded enough. So yeah, if you want to go to a list of horror films, I just suspect that is going to have, it's not going to be a list of every horror film. It's going to be sub lists.
Right. So do you think horror films is better to go to then?
I mean, ultimately we're trying to get to a specific film. And because this is not like one of the well-known enough films to be held up as a prototype of in the way that Jaws is, then maybe the list of horror films is probably the way to go.
I guess the only reason
so much information about it.
The only reason I'm thinking that horror might be the way to go is that the horror page might include information about this horror fest thing that it was a part of, versus list of horror films is going to list individual films. And if they were part of Horror Fest, it won't say that. So horror might be the better route to get us into, because we know that it's part of Horror Fest, to get into Horror Fest and then get to it. My concern is that it's not on this list of horror films, and then we are potentially out of I guess from there we could probably get to horror films, right? Okay. All right. So you want to try list of horror films?
Let's go to list of horror films under films by genre. Horror.
List of horror films.
And it conveniently groups them into decades. But they also have by a country, by setting, by subgenre.
Oh, wow.
By creature.
But, so the actual list is not here. I see. So this is just, we would click on a link that would then take us to a list of horror films from the 1890s, etc.
There you go.
I see.
Which we wouldn't do the 1890s because I believe your friend Brad told us exactly when it came out. So
yes,
which actually gives us an advantage now.
It does. And now the list of American horror films, it doesn't exist. That's not even there.
Because it was murdered.
Yeah, it could be considered. So there's a list of zombie films. I don't know that they're actually zombies. So we probably shouldn't go to that. List of horror anthology films. That's interesting. List of films considered the worst. I wonder if it's on there. Oh, I hope not.
I don't. Is it well known enough to be the worst?
No, probably not. All right. So do you want to go list of horror films of the 2000s? I feel like we're going to click on that, and then that's going to take us to, and mousing over it, I think it is. List of horror films from 2000, list of horror films from 2001. So it's like all we're doing is just getting smaller and smaller here.
Which is exactly what we need to do.
I mean, I guess that's the way to go.
We're trying to whittle down the entirety of Wikipedia on a single page.
So list of horror films of the 2000s.
There we go. Ooh, look, there's 10 links. Can you guess what they are?
Oh my gosh. And then I hope that doesn't take us to another list of lists as well, because it's starting to get a little listiculous here. But list of horror films from 2009, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, because there's nothing else on this page.
No, and it is just a straight up list, and it is in alphabetical order. And if we scroll down, then, oh my God.
Yeah.
Matt, you'll never believe what's right between Penance and The Pit and the Pendulum.
Is it Perkins 14?
It is Perkins 14. I would like to point out that Perkins is a plural possessive. It is Perkins apostrophe.
You're absolutely right. It is. I didn't realize that Perkins was his last name. I guess it makes sense. Perkins.
I guess it's not plural possessive.
Wouldn't really be a name.
Surname ending with an S possessive.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Look at that.
Perkins 14. There it is.
I am shocked.
Are you?
It's got Patrick O'Kane, Shayla Beasley, Mahala Mihut, Michaela Graves, Gregory O'Connor,
Catherine Pollock, Richard Brake, Craig Robert Young, Trey Farley, CJ Singer, Sean Farragher, and Josh Davidson. I know none of these people.
No, and why would you? Because they're not well known. But screenplay by Lane Shaggett. And he does not have a Wikipedia page. You cannot click on his name. That's a shame. But see, distributed by the After Dark Horror Fest. You see that little piece of information down there.
I do.
So
look at that.
So there you go. All right. Well, we've made it. I don't want to talk too much about what's on this page, just in case we have once again tied, as we have done in the past. So looking at this, it took us 7 links to get there, from Archaeopteryx to Skeleton to Shark to list of natural horror films to list of horror films to list of horror films from the 2000s to list of horror films from 2009 to then Perkins 14. So a lot of lists going on in here. Not the most interesting walk we've ever gone on, Jethro.
You know what? But it was fun nonetheless. Sometimes you go on a walk and it's a straight shot.
That's true. And we did it with a bunch of lists. So shall I show you my prediction first?
I want you to. Yes.
I predicted 6 links.
Did you now?
And we actually took 7. So what did you do?
I predicted a 6 upside down. I predicted
That's
9.
a 9. That means I get the win.
I had very little confidence that we would get here this quickly. I felt I was being exceedingly generous by guessing 9, because I was like, this is going to be like 14, 15.
See, I got a little more faith in us. The way that we did that first one in 3, and then we could have done it in 2. Like I just feel like we're getting good at this, even the ones that seem out of reach. No,
the unsung hero of this episode is absolutely Brad, because you said very clearly early 2000s, and he took the time to correct you.
Yes, he did,
and give you the exact year, without which we never could have followed the path that we did. So well done, Brad.
No. Well, what we would have done is possibly gotten through to that list of the ones from the 2000s, but I would have been like, I'm going to say 2002. And then we would have tried 2002 and it wouldn't have been right. Then we would have been like, all right, how do we get out of here? You know what I mean? Like it would have been a vicious slog. It could have been crazy at that point. Actually, let's see. If we had done 2002, I wonder if there is another thing on here that was from Horror Fest. Like if we could have found Horror Fest somehow. It doesn't look like it though. Like it's not really talked about in any of these things here. So yeah, we would have been right up the creek with no paddle.
It's so true.
Yeah. So Brad, if you're listening to this, thank you.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
You saved us. And you saved me for sure. Because I guess 6 and it was only 7, which was great. Yeah, Jethro, this was a blasty. And next week we will travel on from here. I can't imagine we're going to get anything that's even remotely related to it, because it's not very well known.
No one. I mean, is, other than borrowing your DVD of it, is it even streaming anywhere? Is it possible to see this? Or is this the kind of thing that they just upload the entire thing to Vimeo because no one's going to sue because nobody cares?
It's possible that is the case. I do know that if anyone does go and watch this movie, I do want to say that I did mention that Lane is not a fan of this movie, and one of the reasons that he is not a fan is that the story goes that he did not travel to Romania when they were making the film, which might be obvious. I don't know. So he was getting phone calls from the director saying, we want to change this and we want to change that. We want to change these things. And he was like, no, you can't. That doesn't make any sense. And they just did it anyway. So a lot of the things that he had written never made it to the screen because they were just like, well, we're just going to change it. We're just going to do what we want. And that's not to say that Craig Singer is a bad director. I know nothing about the man. But I also just want to say a little, just try to.
I think anyway. Someone discovered a very painful lesson about the collaborative art of filmmaking and how a writer has absolutely no control. I will say,
yes,
it did get a 27% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
It is available on a surprisingly large number of platforms for only $3.99.
Wow.
You can get it on YouTube. You can get it on Apple TV. You can get it on Amazon Prime. So,
well, there you go.
I can't promise that I'm going to watch it. But maybe if Chrissy's not doing something some night and is out of the house and I'm stuck home alone.
I mean, I can't believe it says here that it premiered at the After Dark Horror Fest on January 9th, and it would later have its DVD premiere on March 31st of the same year. It premiered like 3 months later, not even 3 months later on DVD. That's amazing.
That sounds like a shrewd economic move. I wonder if it made its money back.
I would guess. Well, like I said, it was filmed on the cheap, is my understanding. But you can see here, the film was developed online at massify.com. Writers uploaded story concepts and actors submitted audition videos. The winning idea was submitted by Jeremy Donaldson. And that was it. That's how it all worked out. So cool stuff. Cool stuff. Well, Jethro, this has been an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to walking from Perkins 14 off to somewhere else if I survive this Halloween. Ooh. Any questions? Hey everybody, Matt Hartman here again. Thanks so much for listening to Drunkard's Walk. Another big thank you to Jesse Ali for our theme music and Nick Jaramillo for our artwork. And hey, just a reminder to you that if you're around and listening and liking what you're hearing, why don't you head on over and give us a rating or a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to your podcasts? Or hey, head on over to Patreon and join on up. Give us a couple bucks a month and it'll help keep us going here. Or hey, maybe you want to give us a topic suggestion for one of our destinations. You can do that too. In fact, if you head over to our link tree, that's linktr.ee/drunkardswalk, you can go ahead and find all of those links as well as many others, including for merchandise and our webpage and just everything that you need to know. So if you like what you're hearing, go and do that. If you don't like what you're hearing, well, thanks for listening anyways, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.